Follow and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now in this video I'm bringing you another really interesting Bitcoin update, something that if you're invested in Bitcoin, you really have to watch this video till the end, because this is something that I haven't showed you on this YouTube channel yet, and I think that this is something that is incredibly important, and this will answer where is our potential bottom. And usually, as of right now, we're just looking at this price level right here, which is basically our $30,000 super strong support right here, which has been confirmed far too many times to be ignored. However, there is something else that I really want to show you in this video. And before we get into it, please do like the video, show me some support. Let's get this video into the algorithms. And also, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you're notified when I make a new upload. All right, without any further ado, let's get right into this. So, what do I want to show you? And that is something in the weekly chart. Now let's move to the CUSD for this purpose because of the market data, and let me show you two things, super important two things that you must personally be watching if you want to identify the potential bottom, except for the potential bottom of being $30,000, which I mentioned in the previous video. So if you haven't watched it, please take a look at it right now before watching this video. So what do we need for this? For this we'll need the volume. Let's take a look at the first thing when it comes to the volume, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So let's make it a bit smaller. So whenever we had a big sell-off and we had a reversal, oftentimes before the reversal, we had a super strong, super huge so-called paranormal candles. Some people call them capitulation candles. So these are super long weekly candles with a lot of volume. So for example, this one right here, this would be a pretty good example of what it looks like. A lot of volume, long capitulation candle, small move down afterwards, and then we are taking off in the upward direction. Okay, the next one is, this is a very good example right here. Tremendous volume, tremendous volume, huge long candle, and after which we are taking off in the upward direction. So then the next one, for example here, also we had this huge, let me just make it a bit bigger, huge weekly candle right here with a lot of volume, after which we had a consolidation right here at 30K, and we moved upward. Now, if we take a look at the current situation, and this is quite worrying if we really follow these kinds of patterns and these kinds of tendencies, then we can see that there still isn't really that very much volume. I mean, there is some kind of volume here, maybe a little bit here, and this could be maybe classified as capitulation candle, but I wouldn't say so. This is something that we really want to see, and this kind of volume. If you compare this volume to this volume right now, it's nothing. So this is very worrying. We really want to see that huge volume, or as I mentioned in the previous video, where people get completely disappointed, complete disappointment, capitulation, just something like this. And we are not seeing it right now just as of yet, something to really watch out for. And this is thing number one that I wanted to share with you in this video. The thing number two is even more important. And let's take a look at these three lines right here, which are, in my personal opinion, extremely important. These are, again, this is on a weekly chart, so this is looking at the bigger picture. Again, in a short-term perspective, everything is quite clear. We're really, if we break 35,000, where we are stuck at right now, 35K, which it seems like we are gonna break it, then again, our target is easily $30,000, so there is no need to even talk about this. So these are going to be quite important in the weekly chart for us to understand where could be this bottom and what kind of patterns did we see previously in the market, and something that can give us an interesting indication of what might come. And right here you will see that I have just toggled on the yellow line right here is the EMA, the exponential moving average for the last 100 weeks, then also regular moving average for the last 100 weeks, this blue one right here, and also the regular moving average of 200 previous weeks, this red one right here. So if you might think, okay, what do we see here? Nothing yet, but let me just show you an example from the past, from the history. But remember, history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but this is something we can actually watch because it might repeat itself. So right here we can see that we slowed down a little bit at this yellow EMA of the exponential moving average of the last 100 weeks, but it seems like we're not going to be holding it. So we certainly are going to the blue one. So the 100-week MA right here, which again is our current target of about $31,000. But this is not it just yet. Let's take a look. Let's go back into the history and let's take a look at what was happening previously. So here is a very vivid, very good example of what I want to show you. So here it was in November 2019 when we actually had this correction going downwards, and we actually got slowed down by the 100-week AMA and the 100 regular moving average, 100-week regular moving average. We did slow down right here, but finally we charged up and actually broke through both of these. And this actually happened after the crossover of these two, the regular MA and the 100-week EMA. And then where did we find support? It was right at the 200-week regular moving average. So, and this is not the only instance when this actually had happened. So let's take a look at this one, this beautiful example right here. So we had this beautiful squeezing right to the yellow MA, which is EMA, which is 100-day EMA. Then we broke both of them, and after the crossover, we basically moved lower and lower and lower. And again, look at where we found our support right here, and this was the bottom basically. So quite interesting, right? So we already have basically two instances where this was extremely relevant. So this is something to keep in mind. And right here as well, as we can see, well, it doesn't go this far for some reason. Well, nonetheless, it's easy to understand here. We can actually, I can just draw it like this, I suppose, something like that. So here as well, we had the same situation when we got some kind of a resistance support right here from these two, the 100-week EMA and regular MA. But then as it crossed over, we actually finally moved downward. But again, where did we find support? It was this 200-week moving average right here, and this was our bottom. So let's take a look at if this is the case and if the history is going to repeat itself, and this has been happening for quite a lot. I mean, look at all of these examples, all of these slowdowns, and for so many years, all these corrections, that's exactly how it played out. So if we take a look at this area, also this area, the previous one that I just showed you, each single time our bottom was actually the 200-week regular moving average. Very important to take a look at. So let's see what's going on here. So we are, as we just saw, we are just basically testing this 100-week exponential moving average. And certainly it still is quite far away from the crossover of the EMA and MA right here. So we can theoretically draw something like this, I don't know, some kind of a parallel, so maybe some kind of a crossover might happen here. And this could be, you know, this is the place where we could play around a little bit, certainly, because again, remember, this is our super strong support right here at $30,000, and we might bounce off of it. But if we actually pay attention to the patterns that I just showed you, then we might actually go a bit above and then crash even lower to swap liquidity, and the whales might be manipulating the market, everything that I've mentioned in the previous video. But in this case, where would be the bottom? Where is our 200-week moving average? And in this case, certainly, I mean, if we're going to be playing around in this area right here, it's going to take a few weeks, then it still is going to be moving upward. So technically, and well, it really depends on how you draw it. So then in this case, the worst case scenario would be our target right here, somewhere in this area, in this region. So anywhere from like $22,000 to about $25,000 could be our absolute bottom. Like you guys mentioned in the comments from a previous video, that when I said that, you know, big whales might not as well drop the price below their average entry price, and some of you said that, well, they are invested so long term that they might as well, you know, get the even better price and go into a slight loss and be fine with it, which is absolutely true. I mean, it depends on their accounting, on their, you know, because some of the people, some of the companies actually borrowed money to buy Bitcoin, so that really depends on their inner politics and what they're able to do in terms of their investors and how they view risk, and going into such negatives might not be politically correct within their company. So that really depends. However, that certainly is true that they could try to push price even lower to swap the liquidity and get, you know, all the last Bitcoins at the completely at the area of complete, you know, disappointment. And this would definitely be the area. So if we don't hold $30,000, I would say that the absolute minimum, and as we see in these patterns, in these three moving averages, then our bottom could be around $22,000 to $25,000, and it probably will be not something with a consolidation in the weekly chart. It will probably be, let me just do it like this. If we're gonna see a scenario like this of going lower, then I don't think that there is going to be a consolidation here. I think that we're gonna actually start moving up from this point on really, really fast. And in this case, if this is gonna happen, then we're gonna finally see this, you know, double top to actually play out and sort of cover some distance and to cover the target. So all the technical guys who are looking at all these double tops, which I'm personally not really that very much a fan of, then this could also meet this, certainly to a certain extent, the target of this double top. So this is something that I could be paying attention to myself, and this is something that certainly is very, very important. But remember, if we're gonna see, for example, XRP right now winning the court against SEC, we probably are not gonna even see $30,000, you know, if they win suddenly, you know, which is not gonna happen. Probably is gonna take some more time. But this good news like this will probably not allow us to dip. Will not allow us to dip so low. So, and also the same thing goes for ETFs. So if one of those ETFs is gonna be actually allowed and it's gonna be created, then this is also gonna take the price to the moon. So that we have to be watching these things. I just wanted to mention these important aspects that I'm currently looking at that you might find interesting as well. And if you want to be trading actively and or investing, etc., then don't look any further than Bybit. And down in the description of this video, you'll find an exclusive link of TimesPro to Bybit. Open an account, which like 20 seconds. Deposit money into it, and after your initial deposit, claim up to $4,100 in free bonuses, which you can use for your investing or trading, etc. And as always, stay smart in the markets. Remember that there are many possibilities and things can change drastically, and you have to always stay updated. So that's why hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio!